Have you ever been handed a dream on a silver platter, only to feel the weight of it crushing you? We all ask for a miracle, a breakthrough, that one lucky chance. But what happens when the universe finally says yes, and a voice inside you screams no? What if you were the one standing in your own way? This is a story for anyone who has ever believed they were unworthy of their own victory. He won a $10 million lottery. That night, his family watched as he quietly burned the winning ticket. The slip of paper, flimsy and insignificant, curled into a black fist in the fireplace, taking with it a future of new cars, a bigger house, and paid-off debts. His 10-year-old son, eyes wide with a confusion that would soon harden into resentment, looked from the fire to his father. His wife, Sarah, did not scream. Her silence was louder, a hollow space in the room where their shared dreams used to be. The antagonist was not in the room, it was inside Leo's head, a cold, heavy certainty that whispered, "People like us do not get to win. We manage, we survive, we do not win." He thought by burning the ticket, he was destroying a monster that would tear them apart with greed and expectation. He was choosing the safety of their small, predictable life over the chaos of wealth. "It's for the best," he whispered, the words tasting like ash. Sarah finally moved, her hand shaking as she placed a white envelope on the coffee table. "I was going to give this to you tomorrow," she said, her voice devoid of emotion. It was a foreclosure notice. They had 30 days to leave their home. The logic of his choice became his prison. He had burned their only escape route to protect a life that was already sinking. The next morning, Sarah packed a bag for herself and their son. "I can forgive you for being scared, Leo," she said, standing at the door. "But I not forgive you for making us pay for your fear." The door clicked shut, and the silence that followed was the sound of his world ending. He went to his job at the packaging warehouse, the familiar rhythm of taping boxes now a funeral drumbeat. His co-workers had heard about the win, the congratulations felt like accusations. He could not focus, mislabeling a critical shipment. His supervisor, a man who preached about stability and never taking risks, fired him on the spot. "We need people we can rely on," he said, his voice laced with a grim satisfaction. Leo was now jobless, family-less, and soon to be homeless. He had desperately tried to hold onto his small, steady world, and in doing so, had systematically demolished it. He sat on the floor of his empty house, the foreclosure notice in his hand, trapped in a downward spiral he had created. He had not just failed, he had become a living monument to failure. Days later, sitting in a dimly lit diner, he got a call from a number he did not recognize. It was a journalist from the local paper. "Mr. Collins," she said, "I'm doing a story on local heroes. We heard what you did with the lottery winnings." Leo was confused. The story was out, but it was twisted. A rumor had spread that he, D1, and anonymously donated the entire sum to the children's hospital, which had recently been saved from bankruptcy by a mysterious multi-million-dollar gift. For a moment, a blinding flash of hope hit him. Maybe he could use this. He could take the credit, become the town hero, and maybe, just maybe, Sarah would see him as a man who made a noble sacrifice, not a coward who burned their future. But the journalist continued, her voice turning sharp. The thing is, the hospital confirmed their donation was from the estate of a wealthy recluse who died last month. So, Mr. Collins, the whole town thinks you a saint. But you and I both know that ticket is just ash. Tell me, what does it feel like to be a hero for a lie? The trap snapped shut. He was now not only a failure but a fraud. He was at his lowest point, a man who had nothing left but a reputation he had not earned and could not bear. At rock bottom, there is a strange clarity. Sitting in that diner, stripped of everything, Leo finally saw the truth. The problem was never the money. The problem was the story he told himself, the story that he was small, that he was unworthy, that his destiny was to barely get by. The choice he made in front of the fire was not between wealth and poverty, it was between believing in a bigger future or clinging to a familiar, failing past. That inherited fear was the real antagonist. He took out his phone and called Sarah. She answered, her voice wary. "I do not have money," Leo said, his own voice raw but clear. "I do not have a job or a house. But I finally understand. I spent my whole life being afraid of failing at something big, so I chose to succeed at staying small. And I lost everything anyway." He took a breath. "The money is gone. But I'm not. Let me start over. Not with a lottery ticket, but with my own 2 hands. Let me build something, even if it is small, that is not based on fear." There was a long pause on the other end of the line. The next day, Leo walked into a bank and applied for a small business loan. He was rejected. So was he at the next bank, and the one after that. But he did not stop. The final image was not of him rich or famous, but of him standing with Sarah in front of a small, grimy storefront for rent, holding a business plan covered in notes. It was terrifying. It was uncertain. And for the first time in his life, it felt like winning. So, I ask you, what dream are you holding in your hand right now? What winning ticket are you ready to burn because you afraid of the life that comes with it? Leo's story is not about money, it's about permission. The permission you give yourself to be bigger than your fears. Your potential is not the problem. Your thinking about your potential is. The world will hand you opportunities. It's up to you not to turn them to ash. The choice is not what you have. It's what you believe you deserve. I'll be back next week with another story. Until then, stop waiting for permission. Your life is waiting for you to claim it.